This presentation is part of a workshop voicing indigenous food sovereignty struggles, which has been organized by the project Indigenous Food Systems in Transition, financed by Future Food at the Swedish University for Agricultural Sciences. Furthermore, the workshop was organized in collaboration with Case Study 18 of the Horizon 2020 Finance project Just North. You are welcome to listen to the lecture.
Hello, my name is Ella-Karin Lind, and I work for the National Association of the Sami People in Sweden, and I'm located in Umeå, 600 kilometers north about Stockholm. And I'm a Sami. I'm coming from a reindeer herding family, and I work with I'm a project leader for a Sami traditional fishing project. I will talk about it a little bit. And it's called Golli Golli, and it's a play with words. Golli means gold, and Golli it's fish, and it's a gold fish, the importance of the fish in the Sami culture. And in the beginning, you saw Daniel Barok, a young Sami reindeer herding man. He was speaking in his mother tongue, the Ume Sami language. And this is a work in progress film, so he will translate what he said. But shortly he said that he's very proud that he can speak the Ume Sami language, that they've learned it at home. And now he's working as a reindeer herder in Moscow Sami village, and he's very proud of that. And the pictures you saw, we filmed it in Moscow Sami village in June, so it's a very new taken photos, is it? And it was Daniel and Leif Lundberg. They were out in Swedish. It's called notfiske. Leif was going to show Daniel how you fish with this note. I don't know the special netted fishing method, is it? And so we will make more. We have more films, of course, to cut and this project, it will end in December 22. So we will cut the films, and it will be a longer films, of course. And this area, you know, of course. And you saw we have filmed Daniel in Arjeplog community, and Nicke Nutti he lives up in Gällivare in the same area. And we have followed Nicke Nutti for almost a year, and during different fishing periods. And we will film him some more next summer. I said my name is Ella-Karin Lind, but in the Sami language, my name is Mihkalbiera Ristina Marke Elegaren. And it goes back to 4th generation back. So Marke was my mom, Ristina was my grandmother, Mihkalbiera was my grandmother's father. And that's a way of telling who you are in the Sami culture and in the Sami language. And this reindeer calf, it was my friend when I was small. This project, we work with the Arbetjehto, and I'm sure you know what it means, and it's a traditional knowledge, is it? And we want to, with this fishing project, we want to highlight the Arbetjehto, the traditional knowledge in the Sami fishing culture. It's been written a lot about reindeer herder culture, but not so much about the fishing culture. How is it done? How do you learn it? And how do you learn the Sami fishing culture to the next generation? And as you all know, I've learned when I was small that we have to be grateful what the nature gives you. And here in this example, it's the fish. And when I was small, we learned not to fish too much, to save the fish in certain lakes, and we didn't take more what they needed. We didn't fish and just throw it away, so we have to be careful with the nature. And it's an oral tradition. You learn it from generation to generation. And it's important that this traditional knowledge, it can't be separated from the people who lives in that area. And that's why indigenous people are so threatened by the climate change, because it's hard for a reindeer herder, he can't move to another area. And also for these people who fish, they can't go to just another area to fish in another lake. So that's a holistic view of looking at the life. And you see also it's both material and immaterial culture. You learn it, and you learn also the different unwritten rules in the culture. And in this project, we want to have written this in Swedish, but it says that we want to highlight the Sami kitchen culture, and we also want to take care of all this old traditional knowledge. And a couple of weeks ago, I was in Jokkmokk with Nikke Notti, this man you saw, and a chef, Lynn Hova, she made the different fishing dishes from the traditional fish that Nikke came with, and we filmed it. And as the language we will use in this film, you heard the Ume Sami language, and we will also translate some parts of it in the North Sami language, and then I will make an interview with Ella-Karin Pavval, and she speaks the Julev Samigella, the Lule Sami language, and I will interview her about the Sami traditional fishing culture. And Slow Food Sapmi, it's part of this project. Anneli, as you heard yesterday, she will do economic analysis of how much do you have to fish to earn money as a Sami entrepreneur? Is it do you earn any money by fishing? And she will analyze it, and she will present the results in her studies in next year. So we'll see what will happen with it. Is it worth fishing? And how in different, what can you do with a fish? And you can boil it, you can fry it, you can dry it, you can grave salt it, you can cold smoke it, you can warm smoke it, and you can make traditional salt fish, and you just salt the fish. And it was hard to find an English explanation of that, but we maybe can discuss it later on. Here in this picture, you can see it's dried fish up, and it's the dried fish is very good when you walk up in the mountains. It's very protein rich, and you don't carry water. And when you eat it, you can boil it in a pan and put some water, and you will get a lot of energy. And then it's very good to dry it, because it's very easy to preserve during the summer times, because if it's very dry, the fly doesn't lay any eggs on the fish. And here is also some other pictures of the fish. It's a project that we was working with, I think it was 2 years ago. And this fish, it's ready to get smoked. I think this was taken 2 years ago. And I read, when I came home a couple of weeks ago, I looked in my books and saw what is written about fish. And then it was an old Sami man who said, from the old time, it is known that the fishermen always have food. And it was an old man, Anders Larsson Lussi, and he's dead now. And this quote is it's found in this book, Urfödan, and it's Lilian Reed who wrote it. So that's also about something that the fish is important in the Sami culture. And this is also a quote from an interview I made many years ago with Ella-Karin Partapouli. She's still alive. She lives in Kiruna, and she talked about when they fished in Talma, Sami village. And when we had a lot of perch, my mother used to take care of the blood and the fat from the fish intestines, and she made a batter of wheat flour, fat and fish blood, and she made small cakes that she fried and served it together with this new boiled perch. So, and I think it's a recipe that isn't used anymore. And this is also another interview. This Anna Hovadinesius, she passed away a couple of years ago, and I interviewed her many years ago, and she said, my father used to boil the fish and that he ate them together with the boiled fish and the fisklever. I don't know the word in English. And you can also do different kind of fish. Surfisk, I don't know, sour fish. It's the right translation. And sour white fish. Can you also make different recipes? So what I want to show with this quote is that it's a lot of culture, food culture within the fish culture. And then it's also one old Sami woman who says when they slaughtered the reindeers on the small lakes, they let I don't know the right word, offal, they let it lay down on the ice, and then when it sank, when the springtime came, this offal lady, it was a good food for the fish. So the fish had food from the reindeers when they slaughtered it. My mom, she passed away 2012. She used also to fish a lot. My father, he was always with the reindeers. So this is in Arjeplog's area. She was fishing. I think this is in August. And here she's preparing the fish to smoke it in the lavvo. And then here she's doing something with the hay that you have in the shoes. And this fishing project, it's a cooperation together with Slow Food, Sápmi, and Samid Riikasjärvi, the National Association of the Sami People. And so this is a work in progress. So that's why I don't have so many films to show now, but it will be more films a little later on. But this is we are just in the middle of this project. Thank you.